I know I should have made this video probably about a week ago because it is useful and important tips for dungeoneering. It's just I've been so busy lately that I've had to get time to get some clips. As you'll see, some of these did take a little bit of RNG to even get the little bosses so I could show it, or even like the ferret room. So with that, let's begin the 14 very important tips and tricks for dungeoneering. First off, the very first one would have to be the rewards trader, and you want to go to shop, scroll all the way down, and you'll want to buy the scroll of quick teleportation. This is so you quickly go back to your base. It does cost 50,000 dungeoneering tokens though, so that might be a little hard to get if it is a fresh account, but once you do have the tokens for it, I highly suggest you buying this. Another one that, well, I'm not even sure if this is even good or not, but it would be the Scroll of Daemonheim. While you're performing actions in the dungeon floors, let's say you open a mining door, sometimes you'll get 8 dungeoneering experience. And you think 8, that's nothing. But if you open 10, 15 floors, rooms in that one floor, it kind of does help. I mean, it's probably like an extra 100 dungeoneering experience per floor, possibly. So, I mean, this one's not required, but I mean, it could add up if you do 1 billion floors or something. So, yeah. The next one would have to be the reward shop at Briar. So, speak to him. And then the next one you want to buy is the Elite Dungeoneering Outfit Blueprint. Keep in mind, this does require access to Invention skill, which would be 80 smithing, 80 crafting, and 80 divination. This is worth 200,000 tokens. And then what the Elite Outfit actually does is it gives you 7% more experience per floor, and you're able to skip 1 room per floor as well. For consumables, you want to buy these cards that say team. And I'll just buy 10 right here. And it will go to your inventory. If you are an iron account, the Meerkat scrolls are completely useless as we don't have access to sinkholes. So with that, let's go to the bank and I'll go over the cards real quick. And I'm pretty sure, okay, there we go. The cards you will mainly want is the Cloning Mosquito, the Printing Ibis, and the Thieving Locust. The Mosquito doubles the tokens gained for the floor. The Ibis, it's 1.5 times the experience. And Locust is double the experience. And these do stack. The next best one would have to be the Bunyip, which has a random chance to act as any card. So this could possibly act as the Locust or the Ibans. The next one that could be good if you do have access to Brythinius would have to be the consistent Yak card. This means the next room that you personally open will have a Brythinius recipe on the floor. Next up would have to be the Phoenix card, which it could be good if you're farming for, let's say, the Blood Shard Necklace, as it's pretty much best in slot for dungeoneering, although it does take a little bit of while to get. And I mean, I killed like 100 Edmus and nothing so far. And lastly, you want the Smoke Devil because it allows you to open a door without having the requirements for. So that is extremely good. Another tip would have to be the Archaeology skill. With this, well, since I am 99, I can just access this anytime at a bank. You want to have the Shadow's Grace relic active, which means you're able to surge, escape, barge, and blade dive twice as often. This is very good for movement throughout the whole dungeon. Another relic which I don't have access to would be the Deathless, and for this, while you are dungeoneering, you will never receive a penalty for dying. This relic does, however, require 91 archaeology. The Shadow's Grace requires 67, which is very, very easy to get. The 91, that could be time gated in a sense. And while you are using this relic, I know on screen at the end, it will say you got, let's say, a penalty of 4 deaths, so it will be negative 44% experience. But it won't actually give you that negative experience. It's just, it doesn't consider this relic before you enter. It only considers it at the end. But don't worry, you don't get bonus, you don't get negative experience while you are using this. Now for players that have access to Brythinius, you want to make your way to My Lair District and to have 95 Dungeoneering. Once you're here, you want to go north and you want to enter the mysterious entrance. This is a very good daily, but of course it's pretty much RNG. You want to right click the NPC right at the entrance and claim card. And there we go, I got a very good card for free. And then just teleport back to Daemon Hine, and then you're free to use that card whenever you want. Keep in mind, you have to use the card before you can get another, and you can only get 1 card a day. Now, I'll actually go over Dungeoneering skill itself. And yes, if you are 99 Dungeoneering or even 120, you can bring the Skillcape with you. And to save bank space, you could add the hood, so it's a hooded Dungeoneering cape. Now let me make a party real quick. And let's start. I'll do enter dungeon, and keep in mind I do have access to the Dungeoneering auras. The easy is pretty much useless, but the medium task set, you're able to bind 1 skilling potion, and the Smuggler will automatically give you 40 law and 40 cosmic runes upon entering. And you're also able to choose what boss you want to encounter, which is not too important. But anyway, right here, I already got the law runes and the cosmic. So I'll just drop this, and we'll be talking to the Smuggler. For here, there's actually pretty good, and that would be option 5. When you speak to him, ask him about your starting items. For here, you want to go through the dialogue, and you can either hit option 1. You want to receive 3,500 coins every time you start the floor, or he automatically gives you feathers, which is 50 feathers, 25 rune essence, and an anti-poison. He will always do this, and I highly suggest option 2. And then I'll just pick up the runes for just because. And then right here, there's always an altar, so you could always make more runes if you need, or if you are using magic, you can automatically make air runes if you do not have a air staff. So yeah, that's very good. And also the feathers, if you have access to the aquarium room, these are no longer useful. But if you do not, this is pretty much the best way and the quickest, as he will always give it to you every single floor. And then I'll go back to the Dungeoneering aura just a little bit, and that's because also at the medium, you're able to right click the Dungeoneering ring, customize, and you're able to actually get some bonuses. For ranging, the best one is the Desperado, which increases your damage by 20%, and it's based on tier. So like my Keen Eye, I'll upgrade it a little bit, where it costs only 130 tokens. But if I upgrade it again, it will cost slightly more. It'll keep going, and you'll see its benefits that it does do. Now for the last tier, it does cost 233 1,000 Dungeoneering tokens, which it does take a while to get, if I'm going to be honest. And if you're a higher level, you get them so much quicker. Anyway, the last tier will always do the 20% for like hit chance, 20% for increased damage, and the same thing for magic. Although for magic, increases your hit chance by 50%. And then for the melee ones, it's pretty much useless. No one should melee except to barge and blade dive. For magic, I like to have the Desperado as my main one, and the secondary that you can just right click the icon and set as secondary, so your ring will take its effect. If you completed the medium, it will count as 50% of whatever bonus it does do. If you have the hard task set, it will count as 75% of the passive. And if you have completed the elite, it will count 100% of its passive effect. And then while you do also have the elite, you also gain access to an additional magical gate zone 2, which again my account does not have, as it's restricted in a specific way that I kind of enjoy, and it's another gate stone. So you have the main gate stone, the group gate stone, and then you have a second gate stone. So this is extremely good, and while you're doing dungeon floors with 5 people, it does help so much. And then I'll go back to the ring real quick. For magic, the best one will be Blitzer. And then, I mean, that's about it. These other two, it's not too good, although Blazer could be good. I'm just not even sure if that's considered good. So for magic, it's only one pretty much, which means you could have a skiller depending on if you want like extra experience or something. But that's not really what you want to do while you are doing group dungeon. And then one more thing will have to be the potions that you do see. When I right click the Smuggler, it will be in this slot. You will actually need to have completed the medium task set for this. And I'm going to be honest, I find that the Natureless potion is the absolute important one, because we have 120 farming and 120 herb lore, so we get those doors more commonly. After that, the next potion would have to be the Artism, which is for smithing, construction, and sometimes crafting floors. The Gathering and Survivalist, I have not, well, you do use them sometimes, but they're like the least important. And that's from me doing about probably 50 hours-ish of group dungeon, where I have to always boost for 120 farming, 120 herb lore for those doors, which I'm gonna be honest is pretty annoying. So let me walk around the dungeon real quick. And here we go. I automatically got a bad room. Well, not a bad room, but it's like time gated. So with this, you just want to spam the door and hit the number 1 button. And this is if you have the Elite Dungeoneering outfit, and I'll show you why. Right there, it gives you the option to go through the door, which I can. If you do have access to Dungeoneering, you can actually use a lock melter. So at most, you can skip 2 doors per floor for everyone. So if you have 5 people, you only have 2 skips. If you're soloing, you only have 2 skips as well. And I'll be right back once I find the Ferret room, and I do start inviting people, as there's a little trick about that as well. There is actually a different way to invite people if you're a main account or even an iron, and that is to use the Ring of Kinship on the player. That way you bypass having to type their name, including if it's like this person who has a lot of I's, A's, H's in his names. So that's a good and quick way to bypass that and invite them quicker. Another super useful tip is to have Blade dive so you can catch the Ferret instead of wasting a skip to unlock the door. So what you want to do is just Blade dive right to the Ferret and then catch it immediately, like that. That is how you do the room in about, I don't know, 3 seconds. Although sometimes pathing might get you an issue, but just keep at it. You can also surge as well. While you are doing your rushes for abandoned floors 12 to 17 and 30 to 35, you will get the boss Bulwark Beast. Now, usually, if you're meleeing the beast, you will need to attack him and get rid of the shield at the very top of the screen, and then you can start killing him. Now, if you range, you will not be able to reduce his defense whatsoever. It has to be melee attacks. But if you're using magic, it completely bypasses breaking the shield and you can just DPS him completely. So you skip breaking down the shield entirely. So this is pretty much one of the few bosses that using magic completely negates one of the mechanics. On to the next tip. The very last tip is that you will want to do this on World 77. And thank you all so much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment as it does help me a lot.